I'm Lisa. I was born in Germany. I just turned 38 and I grew up in England between Liverpool and Manchester, and then we moved to Switzerland. I was maybe 7 or 7.5, and I was sexually assaulted when I was a child for quite some time because it was by one of my neighbors, but nobody knew about it. I didn't tell anyone. And so this entire story came out when I was about maybe 11. 12. I had to go to a therapist and talk about everything that I had suppressed for so long. So it was like opening a floodgate. Memories came back. I was in a very deep depression when I was about 12. And I did quite some, I would say maybe about 8 or 9 suicide attempts around that time, that I didn't want to experience anything anymore. So I was institutionalized when I was 12 for, I would say maybe, I think 2 months. But the issue was that I was institutionalized in an adult institution because they didn't have any beds anymore at the youth hospital. And that was another extremely violent situation because I was confronted with adults who had massive psychiatric issues. And I suppose I did have a lot of PTSD that went with that time. I didn't have the feeling that anything was resolved because the starting point of my story had never been resolved. So there was a feeling of not being recognized as a victim either. And so all of this pressure and all of the feelings that I was suppressing at the time brought me into a very, very dark place. And so I ended up being a drug addict for many years after that, up until I was about 20-ish. I woke up one morning and I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw how I looked, and I thought, if I want to have a life, then I have to get out of this. Because up until then, my idea was not having a life of any kind. It was just doing whatever I wanted, doing some stupid shit, and then just having a go at life, and then maybe it ends tomorrow and I don't really care because I don't care about dying at that time. And so I was very convinced that I was going to die young anyway. I didn't really care about when it happened, if it happened today or in 2 months or in 2 years. So that was the way of living. That morning, I just woke up and I looked at myself in the mirror and I just thought, oh my God, you look really bad. And I thought, maybe there is some light. Who knows? Maybe something's awaiting me somewhere. I think therapy is extremely important, and I think therapy can really, really help, because it did help me and it does help me. But I think especially because therapy is so difficult to do and so personal, people should not give up if they find a therapist with whom they don't have a good connection, because it has nothing to do with therapy in itself. It only has to do with the connection you have with the therapist. There is a saying that I always think about because it is just so simple, but it is so true. It's just that this too shall pass. Life is so diverse and nothing stays as it is forever. Nothing. And everything changes all the time, if you want it or not. Actually, it just evolves. So it's really really important to hang on. If you can't keep going on, just hang in there, because that's just it's the best thing you can do. And some days you feel the energy to go on and to push yourself and to move forward. And some days you don't have that energy, but just hang on, because there's so many beautiful things that you will experience. Always hang on and never give up.